Welcome to Japan as a Kitchen. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make probably the most iconic dish from Okinawa called Goya-Champuru, stir-fried bittermelon. Let me talk about the dish first. Goya is the Okinawan term for bittermelon, and it looks like a large cucumber with lots of whorls around the surface. And as it says in the name, it has a distinctive bitterness. This unique vegetable is native to Southeast Asia, and it's said that it was brought from China to Okinawa in the late 16th century. In Japan, Goya is known as Okinawa's local vegetable, and I'm very sure that 10 out of 10 Japanese people will associate it with Okinawa when they hear the name of the vegetable. Okay, now the word champuru literally means a jumble in the Okinawan dialect, and when the word is used in cooking, it means stir-fry. So Goya-Champuru means stir-fried bittermelon. There's no set rules for what to stir-fry when you make champuru, except that you need to use tofu. As far as vegetables are concerned, you can use any vegetable suitable for stir-frying. To name a few typical examples, you could use cabbage, bean sprouts, garlic chives, and of course Goya as well. You can use different types of meat or animal proteins to make Goya-Champuru, but classic example would be luncheon meat like spam, corned beef, or tin tuna fish. Alright, that was a brief introduction of Goya-Champuru. Now let's get started. Okay, we're gonna start with the Goya. Firstly, cut the ends off, and then cut in half in lengthwise. Then get a tablespoon and scrape off all the pith and the seeds inside the Goya. You should remove the pith as much as possible, as it's the bitterest part of Goya, and if it's left on too much, that will make the whole dish too bitter. When doing this, be careful not to break it by using too much force. Then slice the Goya into 2 to 5 mm slices. If you'd like to moderate the bitterness, you can sprinkle some salt over the sliced Goya and rub it gently with your hand. Then rinse it under cold water. But since I like the original bitterness, I'm going to use it as it is. Now let's slice up the luncheon meat. Here I've got 340 grams of spam. I'm gonna need only half of it today. Now cut the meat into 4 slices, then lay them down and slice into strips with the thickness of about 1 centimeter. Alright, now the tofu. Firstly, cut it into half and then slice it into 6 even pieces. In Okinawa, they use Shima-dofu, a type of farm tofu that's locally produced on the island. But since it's not widely available, you can substitute regular Japanese-style farm tofu. Next, crack an egg into a bowl and beat it well with chopsticks or a fork. Now, rinse your bean sprouts in cold water and drain well using a strainer. Alright, we're gonna move on to stir frying. Get your pan on the stove and heat some oil in it. When the pan is hot, add the tofu and fry them on medium heat. When they get slightly caramelized on one side, flip them over with a turner and fry further till they get the same kind of color on the other side. When they are fried perfectly, take them out of the pan and set them aside. This process is important because otherwise the tofu will release too much water and the whole champuru will end up being soggy. Now add the pieces of spam in the pan and fry them until lightly browned and crispy on the outside. It's perfectly fine to substitute corned beef or tin tuna fish if you're not a big fan of luncheon meat. Okay, the spam's got a good color. At this point, add the sliced Goya and stir fry over medium to high heat for about 2 minutes. After that, add the bean sprouts and keep frying for 1 minute. Put the tofu back in and stir fry for another minute. From this point, pay attention not to crumble up your tofu. Now we're gonna put some seasonings. Add a teaspoonful of Hondashi, which is Japanese Bonito stock granules, and soy sauce. In regular Japanese home cooking, Hondashi is usually used to make instant stock, but in Okinawa, it's also used as a seasoning in a variety of dishes. After putting in the seasonings, stir fry for 30 seconds or so on high heat. Now we've come to the final step of cooking. Drop the heat to low and pour in the beaten egg. Leave that until the egg sets without touching it because we'd like to see some nice pieces of egg in the finished product. Now the egg is set, so give it the last stir and plate it up. Finish it up by sprinkling Katsuobushi, dried Bonito flakes over the top. Your delicious Goya-Champuru is now ready. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!